Nugget.
Nuggets with Sharon and Johnny. There's a chance for folks to tell their stories and make into beautiful art, and they only have to
Yeah,
do it one time. There's something healing about them, but then that can be used in so many different ways to be able to educate folks who experience that privilege, right? And so I
that's
think,
how I
yes, I
that's
love it.
how I eventually overcame my homophobia.
Mm,
Like when I was 16 years old, I had a piano lesson teacher who I knew was there's something about him. And later on, I pieced together that he was gay. But something about him made me so uncomfortable.
yeah.
And I remember going to tell my dad, I was just like, I can't take piano lessons from this guy. And he was like, did he hurt you? Like, and I was just like, no, I just can't. And it was my homophobia. Just like he would touch, he would like, he had like massive gay hand, and
Yeah,
he would just like touch
yeah,
the keyboard. And I was, and like my like religious Bible thumping fundamentalist body just curdled inside. I hated him. And I was just like, ugh, he's gross.
yeah.
And that was when I was 16 years old. And when
Mm,
I was my freshman year in college, I met someone and I loved them, and they told me they were gay, and they just started to share their stories.
wow.
And then 17 years later I came out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's just
yeah,
it's insane to me. It's insane to me that like it took 17 years,
yeah,
but it began with a story. It
yeah.
began with a relationship.
And a relationship, right?
When I think about like all the like internalized homophobia
Mm,
that I've had, that I've just been like,
mm,
and I just think about like, I this body was this body. Let's talk about bodies. This body was disgusted
yeah,
by that man.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Disgusted.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Johnny, like oh, it's there. Like I remember it, like
mm,
just being like, ugh.
yeah,
And my poor parents, I couldn't even come out and say the word gay to them. I was just so disgusted by them that then when they asked me why I wanted to quit the lessons, I couldn't even
yeah,
tell them because I thought this man was gay.
yeah,
This body
yeah,
had that experience.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I feel, I think storytelling might be the way.
yeah, yeah,
I met Joey, what's his name? And he, oh my God, he made me so uncomfortable.
yeah,
And then like just like all the gay people I met after him, and like I met this guy named Bo, and I was in his band and he was gay too. And I remember being 29 years old and telling him, I don't think gay people should ever get married. And like
yeah, oh yeah,
the fact that he didn't fucking throw me out of his goddamn house at that point.
yeah, yeah, right,
Huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk about grace. Talk about
He
grace.
didn't
Yeah,
throw the house. It's like, oh,
yeah,
I told his gay ass face he couldn't get married.
yeah, yeah,
So like
yeah,
I just think about my journey, and then finally, like when finally just coming out, and like people would be like, Sharon, you don't want to date girls? And I'm like, I'm scared of vaginas. And it's just like, Sharon, like you you were just scared and you didn't know how to talk about it.
yeah,
And so like because I have that just very defined experience of just feeling the like I remember that journey. And I think that's why I feel white people who just have this very long journey,
yeah,
17 years
yeah, yeah,
and counting.
yeah, yeah.
Like I mean that I'm still working on it.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
It's been 21 years.
because that
It's been
disgust is
21 years.
internal. Yeah, yeah. That disgust came from the disgust of yourself, which is the hardest thing to unravel, right?
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And so I had to admit to myself that I was a little disgusted. I wasn't a little disgusted, I was very disgusted.
Yeah,
So maybe there's something to your thing with Beatrice where it's 12 years an ally.
yeah,
Like maybe
yeah,
maybe there is just this expectation
yeah.
that it's gonna take a long ass fucking
It's
time.
gonna take a long time, and the journey is rich. The journey
Oh,
is
it is
rich and beautiful. The
beautiful.
things I have discovered about myself, it is painful. It is painful and delicious and luscious and confusing and frightening and isolating and connecting.
The way I changed, is I was in a room
Yeah. Yeah.
with people
Yeah.
and I felt it in my body.
Yeah.
And that's how I changed. I changed because my eyeballs looked at a gay person. My eyeballs like fucking met
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
And that's when I start to change and challenge people.
Yeah, yeah, and their
And
particles got inside my nose, right? You know, what I mean, I think the onset of social media has allowed us to disconnect our actions and our opinions from our bodies, and
yes,
and it gives us a chance to say things that we would never say if we were in the room with another body. And we don't have to take social media away, but we have got to find a way to embody all of those opinions we put out there in the world.
put it back. Put
Yeah,
it back in the body.
yeah, yeah.
The lesson of this is the body. The body is important.
Yeah, my father, who is a Southern Baptist minister, so I knew when I came out was going to struggle, not only because because accepting me and my wholeness was going to be a challenge to his belief system, but also to his leadership and his career. So I knew it was going to be a
Yeah.
struggle. And a few years into it, he asked me. He said, Jonathan, he said, I everyone else has had a chance to share with you what they believe about your lifestyle. And I was wondering if I could do the same. And I thought for a minute, staying in a very grace-filled space. And I was like, yes, I have two conditions though. Number one, you need to tell someone else first. So you hear what it sounds like before you say it to me. And if you still want to say it to me, I'll at least know that you have heard it. And number two, I get to tell you what I think of your lifestyle. And he never told me. He never followed that up with a conversation. But imagine if we challenged ourselves to do those two things before we put out the opinions that we have about what anyone else believes or thinks, and what that would do for us. Slow down our communication, deepen it,
Slow
and create.
down. Slow down.
Oh, yeah, slow it
Slow
down,
down.
slow it down, slow it down. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So let's have some slow language
Jonathan.
conversations, my friend. Let's keep this going. I'm loving it. And if anytime we feel uncomfortable with doing it, we'll just pop up some puppets. We'll just bring in a
Yeah.
little puppet. I think we should have some puppets available for white folk when they're just too nervous and they don't know how to say it. They can go behind the puppet stage, put a little puppet up and say it. That's fine. That's fine. But
They
then you
look
got to
like
come back in the room afterwards.
they're like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I appreciate
Okay.
journeying with you. I appreciate journeying with you. I'm really excited about in this moment in time. And I do want you to know I will have your back when you need to walk out of the room, walk out of a conversation, be done with this for a while. I will make what I won't even make excuses. I will cover your back as you walk on out of there. Because I think it's very generous, your willingness to do this. And I want to make sure that also it's feeding you, on your journey, and at whatever point you feel like it's not feeding you. Yeah.